could do with that, if we joined those wow, and I could see this huge thing that we could do. And when eventually I got involved, it all worked. It was strange because from being this singer who'd never actually done a show at all outside of the United Kingdom, to suddenly going and doing a 10-month world tour and having a #1 album and gold album and everything else, just like bang, straight off the bat.
After 12 years, the pressure of hit album following hit album and world tour following world tour all began to have an effect.
I thought, how long do I really want to do this for? Because this is not entirely why I got into this whole thing in the first place, which is to tell stories and to try and create that awesome thing. I started to wonder where it had gone. I wasn't sure I could always locate it that reliably. And I thought, is this something with them? And I thought, maybe this is something with me. And that's why I left. Because I wanted to find it again. There's a video for a track called Tears of the Dragon, which is a very beautiful video. And I scripted the whole thing. It's designed around a radio play called The Dark Tower. A family sends its firstborn son out on the quest to find the Dark Tower. And he goes over the ocean and he meets strange characters and he's tempted and all the things that happen on a quest. And so I took the idea of this tower and thought, well, it's a good allegory for what's going on in my head most of the time, So we built one. Huge, torpedo-shaped folly, and set it up in various beach locations. And the central part of this thing was me versus the rock. The whole thing is about trying to give up and let yourself go with the flow. Try to give up all that anger a little bit. What's the expression? Try to get out of your own way. And while I was hunting around, sort of scratching my head and writing this song, Tears of the Dragon, I came across a quote from Henry Miller, and he said that which was all growth of any description is an unpremeditated leap in the dark with no idea of where you are going to land. And I went, well, that's what I'm doing. So I hope he's right.
Chemical Wedding was released in 1998 to critical acclaim. It represented a radical change in direction for Bruce as he joined forces with a somewhat unusual collaborator.
The album is about transformation. It started off being about alchemy, and alchemy is about transformation. It's about the changing awareness of the human soul. The alchemists wrote their philosophy down in deliberately obscure terms, using loads of allegories, loads of imagery. I mean, it's a huge, rich picking ground for heavy metal lyrics, basically. And that was one of the things that attracted me to it. But I ran out of steam after about 3 or 4 songs. I was stumped, and then I just got this gift from Mr. William Blake. I read some of his poetry and I saw some of his pictures, and the pictures were what made me go to the poems, because I saw this picture of Urias and Los, his 2 characters, and that was it. The album had a mentor, if you like, and the way I like to think about it is that I was trying to borrow Blake's spectacles, and all I was doing was reading my songs but looking at them through Blake's old spectacles. You know, that's the best way I can describe it. His poetry was so inspiring that 3 or 4 songs just fell out. I mean, literally. And suddenly, from being me scratching my head going, oh, it's stuck, and what are we going to do? It was like a gusher was coming out of my ears. I mean, when I finished doing this album, which was, and I listened to it back, the first thing that I thought was, damn, I wish I had another 3 months to make another one.
And did the countenance divine shine forth on a clouded hill?
The Jerusalem that Blake was talking about was a Jerusalem within, but he was also talking quite literally about the landscape of England, because he thought that England itself had some inherent holiness inbuilt in the earth. That's something which I understand, because I mean, I've been all over the world and lived at various times in various different places, and I keep coming back to England. If I didn't live in England or have the facility to live in England or come back here, I'm not sure how I could write songs. When he talks about England's green and pleasant land and the dark satanic mills, the vision I get is of rebirth and renewal. That's what Jerusalem means to me. The language surrounding religion, I find fascinating, because it. I think there is a real power in words. I think you put certain selections of words together and conjure up certain images, and I think you can, as it were, hotwire images straight down into your subconscious, because I think there are images, there are memories, there are whatever you want to call it, soul memories, or I think that everybody has a bunch of archetypes, a bunch of images, all bubbling away in their subconscious all the time, and occasionally you see things and without even realizing it you associate with them. Could be that we have some kind of universal mind.